Oh boy, we're in for a treat today. Not only is there an iRacing update coming tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this, but there is also big iRacing update drama featuring devs from a completely different game. And we'll go over the highlights of the update here in a little bit, but first I want to go over that drama because I think peak engagement farming, I think that's what you guys might want the most. And as always, remember that this is purely for entertainment, so make sure to treat it as such. This all revolves around a video that iRacing made to promote their new system of dynamic track with debris being thrown on and off the track, and that's something we'll go over later. But when this video was posted to the Le Mans Ultimate Discord, there was an interesting reaction from one of the devs for the Studio 397, with Studio 397 being who makes the LMU game, which is pretty much just an extension of rFactor 2. In the LMU official Discord, this dev said to comment on this, dev time is limited. Some games like to drain your wallet by posting flashy features on YouTube and making people think less of other games instead of actually improving the product. Other games spend that dev time implementing correct driving instead, for example, having the correct LMDH hybrid implementation. It's all about priorities, and we prioritize a good sim over flashy features that rarely ever matter in my opinion. Any gameplay feature is a waste of time as long as the experience of doing a single lap on your own is nowhere near realistic yet. Now, this comment was not targeted at anyone specifically in name, but very obviously directed at iRacing, and specifically their LMDH powertrain and hybrid implementation. Trying to understand what the hybrid implementation is about is a little over my head. There's a Reddit post here that tries to explain it, but honestly, I don't understand too much of it. So I'm just going to take the LMU dev's word for it that they have it implemented correctly and iRacing's currently is incorrect. But the broader reaction to that post was much more about the attitude of the dev and what he was willing to say on a public forum about a competitor. And I would even particularly call it a new opinion about iRacing. It's just more like somebody who is maybe supposed to be professional saying that quiet part out loud. A comment on the Reddit said that this comment was just completely taken out of context and it's really funny without context, but if you read everything, it makes a lot more sense and not just to judge everything by one out of context taken comment. So I went into the Discord myself to see if I could gain some more context for myself and see if I could relate more to the dev here. So first off, the comment said that there was a very long conversation before this. And to be honest with you, maybe a lot of it was deleted, and that honestly could be true, but there isn't that much of a conversation in between when the video was dropped and when the dev said his first, now infamous comment. There's a little discussion about market share in the sim racing community, which usually is something only nerds like me even care about, but that's interesting enough. And I don't really know what the guy was talking about. There's no conversation hardly after his comment either. It was one and done. That is the comment. Sure, there's another conversation the next day, but don't tell me that this comment is out of context when this is the only comment that the dev wrote in a span of like 12 hours. But okay, maybe his next comments will make him seem more level-headed and less salty. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I think that it looks worse after getting the full context now. Maybe I'm biased, maybe I'm just an oval iRacer, but I don't care about any of this stuff. Like, I don't think iRacing is going to die on the NASCAR side no matter what happens between these games. I'm just trying to look at this. I'm like, what is this guy thinking? And dude, come on, this guy is just a little salty. Let's be real here. Another comment on the Reddit says how there's an idea that iRacing brainwashed sim racers with marketing and sunk costs into forever playing iRacing and ignoring all other sim games even when those other titles become better than this particular thing in iRacing. So I actually kind of understand what he's saying, and I've made that point in a couple videos before, where especially the Assetto Corsa Evo one, where I said that it's not going to pull people away from iRacing unless it does what iRacing has done, just objectively better, and for such a good price that it's just impossible for them to say no. But at that point, it's just not worth it in terms of money on anyone else's end. I think what this all boils down to is that the people at Studio 397 truly believe in their product, and I think that that's great. And I think that they do have a point in terms of the physics and the driving of a car, but that's not the complete package when it comes to a sim racing game. Those flashy things that the dev is talking about, those are more important than he thinks. The vast majority of sim racers aren't there just to drive a car virtually. They want to be part of something, part of a league, a community, a rating system, an elo system that really shows them how good they are. iRacing has nailed all of that, and a lot of it is due to the advantages that they've had from the onset of the scene, but the fact is they have those advantages that you can't simply just overlook and say iRacing physics bad in this specific scenario. In fact, I think that the biggest haters of iRacing's physics are iRacers themselves. I can't tell you how many times I hear, oh, iRacing broke this, iRacing broke that, this sucks, that sucks, but they're all still racing because of the system that iRacing implemented for the multiplayer online. So it's great to believe in your product, but I think that the dev's attitude from Studio 397 really shows why they're not much of a competitor in the first place. Because they're putting all their eggs in one basket, and having no eggs in the other basket means that you can capture hardly anyone. But alright, that's enough of drama. This is all just petty, funny stuff that really isn't worth anything besides a chuckle. But first, a quick shill. I'm hosting a free iRacing Oval group lesson, ARCA at Iowa, this Thursday, December 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern. To join in, go to my Patreon and sign up for a free trial, and you will have access to the password for the hosted session. And feel free to cancel anytime after that, or feel free to stay on to support me. Also available right now on my Patreon is my next mini documentary, one of my best ones I've made yet, but no video yet, just in audio form. Alright, here we are with the dev notes for the update released today. There have been some teasers of things from the past few weeks, but now we have it official. This is our update for tomorrow. So the very first thing is something that you might not think about too much, the test drive service, now called the demo drive. They're overhauling it completely so that it'll be integrated into the UI, which is nice because I had a separate login for the test drive that I could never remember, but it should work completely the same. You can try out every car, every track, even if you don't own it, while there are downtime periods, and it should be more seamless and easier to get onto, so that's a good one for that, but not too big of a deal. More UI stuff with the season recap. That's pretty cool, I guess. Reminds me of Spotify Wrapped. Don't care too much about that. Different settings here. And here's the big deal about dynamic track that we talked about earlier. They are adding the dynamic track debris system, or at least overhauling it, which adds a new type of debris, improving their physics properties, upgrading their appearance, and vastly improving how debris is generated and moves around the track over time. So we can see how this works in real time through their demo video here. It is moving around with the cars, it's getting on the track when people are going off track, and then you can even have mud and stuff like that. So that's really cool. But what I was really hoping for was we would see more dynamic track on the oval side. I know they said that they would keep working on it, so hopefully that's still in the works, but this is mostly a road thing, and as you guys know, I'm not much of a right turner. Formula V is now fully implemented into the iRacing weather system, so that's good, and then every new car is, and I assume that every new car will be able to have rain tires as well. That's just something they're going to be doing moving forward. Some new content into AI, but honestly, nothing too crazy. It looks like the only brand new thing here is the Williams F31, and that didn't have it before, and then some updates to AI that maybe needed a little bit of work to it. I always love reading these AI driver school things, so let's see what they have to say. What has the AI been learning recently? Headlight flashing through the ages, an evolutionary behavior synopsis, okay, so they'll flash their headlights at you. Taking control of your life in your car with special guest car kit. I don't really even know what that means. Underutilized racing tactics, passing on the apron. That must be for NASCAR, so that's actually pretty useful. Geological analysis of loose racing surfaces. That's pretty self-explanatory. Learning from nature. Observe turtles recovering from one. Now that's just oddly specific. Oh, I love this one. Accepting hopelessness and despair and knowing when to reset. That is great. I hate it when the AI cars get all bunched up and just sit there forever at figure eights pretty much. That's what I'm using AI for. So the spotter looks like they'll be doing more in-depth damage reports now, so that's really good. It'll tell you if you have engine damage, aero damage, wheel damage. That's really good. It goes from high to, and now it's in medium too. There's a lot of minor fixes here to graphics, but the one that I think that they wanted to put on top was the biggest one. Greatly improved the specular reflectivity rendering for all objects in the simulation, providing greater color value and reducing a whitewashing effect that could occur. So I guess that's just for shiny stuff. Audio spatial separation has been optimized for cockpit view cameras. Maybe this will make the in-car sound even more realistic and immersive than it was before maybe, so we'll have to check that out. And then I like this one. A volume slider has been added to the replay options menu to control the volume in replay. Thank you. I hated having to do Alt F12 and then going to mic gain, and that wouldn't even do everything. So this, I don't know why this wasn't in before. It's just one of those things, right? This is actually good too. For all stock cars, force feedback should now stay smooth without large spikes and driving at about 25 miles an hour. Sometimes getting off of pit road, you would be like on a rodeo. Your wheel just be like, so hopefully this helps that. All right, now let's take a look at the new content. What do we got here? Any crazy updates here? And here we go. 2 new cars, the new supercars, the Gen 3 supercars. So hopefully this will revive those series a little bit because those are some of the more fun cars I've heard. I honestly don't race them, but everyone that I talk to that races them loves them. And it looks like if you have bought the old supercars, you get a discount if you bought it within the last year. New GT3 car, the Acura. So this is in the 2022 IMSA WeatherTech sports car season. So, and then I think it's the same car for the next couple of years. I guess that's why it's called the 22. That's my knowledge for you, huh? New free car, a sports car, a cup car, BMW M2 CSR. That probably means it'll get its own series, which is pretty interesting because a lot of the D class has been muddled with a ton of series. So we'll see if they take away any series for this car to have its own series. But I'm guessing a free BMW, that's probably going to be a very popular series. And it looks like it has a separate rain tire set. So maybe this is what they're going to do for those lower class rain races. So we'll see how that works out. I haven't seen it on the schedule yet. And then here is all those Dallara P217 changes that there's some overhauls to it, a lot of changes to the aerodynamics and how things work. And I think that was part of the drama too, but neither here nor there at this point. Brand new car too, the Ferrari 499P. It's a sports car and it'll be available for racing. So we'll have to see what series this goes into. It's probably just going to be with the IMSA cars and the prototype. I don't think they would do a series for this on its own, but this is another addition to the prototype community that they have over there. It used to be just one car really for IMSA. Now I think they must have like 5 by now, right? New dirt track, that's a good one because dirt doesn't get a lot of love lately, but here's a brand new one. Hussits? Oh man, I'm really falling behind on my track knowledge of some of these ones. So to me, it looks like a fun track. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you if it was good or not. That would probably be for more of the dirt guys. So hopefully they like it. South Dakota, huh? That's out of the way. Here's an art overhaul of New Hampshire. So it looks like that the track surface has been regenerated or bump map. So I don't think they've done a full rescanning. I think it's just a full scale art overhaul. So the buildings, the trackside objects, so it should look a lot better. And then the AI drivers are now on all the road courses there. So that's cool. And here's a new track, one that I actually really like. It's Thruxton. I drove this for a video like over a year ago, and I was like, man, out of all these dumb tracks that I'm racing, this is by far the most fun. Just like fast and flowy and challenging. So I think this might be popular just because of how it drives, but there's 2 problems. I think one, it's very narrow if I remember correctly, and the other is the paid track, and those usually start hot and then taper off when people don't buy them and go back to racing Spa. So we'll see how that goes out. But overall, not a ton in this update. You don't expect a huge update like a service changing update every season. We've had like kind of 2 of those in 2024 so far, so I wouldn't expect this one to be, but I'm hoping that the next one will be a big one because that seems to be how it goes. A big update, a small update, a big update, a small update. So we'll see, but this one, especially for oval drivers, pretty mid. But as always, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you all on the track. If I can't leave the block.